Even if the market has experienced sell-offs and pullbacks, I've been closely monitoring the demand for ETFs, particularly the Ethereum side. Why? Because the Ethereum ETFs are indicating the potential impact on the market as a whole once some of these initiatives begin to gain traction. Since Ethereum has been gaining traction, I believe that Ethereum ETFs have done very well. There has been a lot of exciting news about Ethereum lately, particularly in light of Tom Lee's massive Ethereum holdings, which has brought Ethereum a lot of attention. Now, when considering this in the current state of the market, everything has sort of fallen to the wayside as a result of the market sell-off. Many individuals believe that the market is finished, that it has peaked, and that cryptocurrency is doomed. Again, though, I can't help but believe like we're at the end of the world, that final wave, if you will, when I consider what's going on in this area right now. And by that, I mean the final wave before the tsunami forms. Because once more, the final wave of 2020-2021 occurred in November-December of that year, and during that period, a wave struck and completely destroyed all currency, to the extent that practically everyone was solely interested in Bitcoin and its theories. The same is true at the moment. The majority of people are examining a theory. At the moment, most people are not investigating every coin, and since all we are being presented is a theory about Bitcoin, I believe this to be a grave error. Ethereum and Bitcoin have been the focus of everything that has happened in the market, including the ETFs. However, this comes at a time when I have been stating that Phase 2 is just getting started. Phases 3 and 4 remain to be completed. Do I also believe that this cycle is the same as others? No, we have to admit that a lot has changed. However, I continue to think that we are currently in line with the liquidity cycle. Therefore, we still have a few excellent months left for cryptocurrency and for the movement of old coin prices, and I'm concentrating on it at the moment. When we consider Ethereum and its market, the desire for ETFs has been quite fascinating to observe. Due to the recent market sell-off, a lot of the price action we are currently witnessing isn't the best. However, Ethereum is still very near its all-time highs despite this recent decline, which indicates that we should concentrate on Ethereum right now and wait for that big break because, as we have seen in past cycles, the moment we do get that big break, old coins will also go crazy. Now, examining Wall Street and the success of these exchange-traded funds, we have to invest in cryptocurrency ETFs. Wall Street only needed $40 billion. With a weekly turnover of $40 billion, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs just set new records. Ethereum alone brought $17 billion. The suits are officially obsessed, and the rest is from Bitcoin. Wall Street wants to sit at the lunch table with cryptocurrency, as if it just got its varsity jacket. Listen, I believe it's critical to pay attention to the amount of money moving into these exchange-traded funds. It is by no means a little sum, $40 billion. Ethereum, $17 billion of it. This indicates that Wall Street is experiencing a huge demand for Ethereum. This year, things will only become hotter. Therefore, I want you all to understand that there is still a very strong demand for Ethereum and cryptocurrency in general right now if you're starting to feel anxious, afraid, or apprehensive. We now know over here as well, according to Justin, trillion-dollar asset manager at Crypto's RS Citigroup is thinking about providing payment and custody services for crypto ETFs and stablecoins. In addition, they will be speaking at the Ripple Swell 2025 conference with Franklin Templeton, BNY, and BlackRock. There will be big moves soon. Indeed, the most bizarre aspect of this is that, as I have always stated, Ripple Swell is a banking conference. But it goes beyond what I've said. No, according to David Schwartz and others, Ripple, a blockchain-based business, was among the first to hold a banking conference about cryptocurrency. Consider how absurd that is. A blockchain-based startup is hosting a banking conference called Ripple Swell. Additionally, the initial Ripple Swell dates back to, I believe, 2016. Therefore, consider how early Ripple was to genuinely engage with the institutional actors in this market. It is quite important to pay attention to. Apart from this, do I believe that XRP ETFs will be the next thing on the board? We have, in fact, been discussing it. We have been dealing with it over here. Within the next 2 months, CNBC anticipates a plethora of cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, ETFs, such as XRP and ABAR ETFs, to be introduced to the market. Pay close attention. Smoke Dog deserves a lot of credit for this. By the way, the sum of the following 2 months is about October. Therefore, that fits in perfectly with many of the SEC's ETF decision deadlines. But take a look at this. Speaking of cryptocurrency, Nate, you're seeing a lot of what you call a boatload of crypto ETF filings, which is comparable to the push-to-market we're seeing with IPOs. What does that signify, and how is it different from previous observations? It's interesting, though, because the SEC has received applications for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs from the 3 major stock exchanges, NYSE, Nasdaq, and CYBO, which essentially means that the exchanges won't have to request special approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it satisfies certain requirements. Therefore, this would expedite the approval procedure. And that's crucial because there are already filings for the XRP ETF from a number of issues or issuers. Cardano HBAR of Solana ETF. There are a ton of filings out there, but we could continue down the list. Additionally, It is anticipated that the standardized crypto architecture will be put into use, perhaps within the next 2 months. Therefore, I believe that you will see the floodgates open if and when that occurs open. There will be a surge in approvals and a plethora of new cryptocurrency exchange, traded funds ETFs will once more hit the market. And yes, listen, I absolutely concur with Nate on this issue because, once more, it makes a lot of sense from the perspective of the wider market, particularly when it comes to old coins that are actually influencing the Fed's decision to cut rates. The atmosphere surrounding cryptocurrency seems to be about to blow up in September or October. Therefore, it is highly likely that the market will continue to rise throughout the following 2 months. Since this year's April, the market has been extremely bullish. In the case of Bitcoin, we have been consolidating to the upside on many older coins for the past 4 months or more. Bitcoin has recently risen above those lows, reaching 24K. As a result, Bitcoin has been performing well. Naturally, Ethereum is getting close to reaching new all-time highs. It's not anything we can be upset about. I hope this video was enjoyable to all of you. Since my stuff is free, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Please feel free to join the free description below and follow me on Twitter. Guys, now that we've covered it, goodbye.